It's the one and only Africa Allah and the B-Team DJs by Playmaster Dr. Day. You're familiar?
Yes, sir. It's the one and only Africa Allah. You're now tuned into another episode of Being Africa Allah. And today, not so social. We are heading into the last season of the year, fall, winter season. And this, of course, would have been our festive time. We'd have been getting ready for Junkanoo. After that, we would have been getting ready to go to Carnival in Trinidad and Tobago. But instead, we inside. So, oh yeah, Miami Carnival, right? October weekend, Columbus weekend. Anyway, we're gonna miss all of that. But we're gonna celebrate while we inside. We safe inside. This is the one and only Africa Allah. Today, I've got a special show. We're going to talk about the Netflix movie, The Social Dilemma. Myself and B from TechMe Pro, we're going to talk about that. So I'm just going to hit y'all off with a little bit of energy, and then we're going to get straight into it. All right? It's the one and only Africa Allah. But before we get to the music, of course, you know I got to hit off Ladam in the legal department so he can tell you how it goes down right here.
Welcome to the legal department of Discover Music Channel by Playmaster.today. We would like to inform you that Discover Music Channel by Playmaster.today only broadcast content with the permission from the assumed copyright holder or companies acting on their behalf, such as digital distribution outlets like DigiWax, Rhythmstream, MP3 Wax and other third-party companies. Our goal is to promote Caribbean and urban-centric content inclusive of new, independent and established artists, as well as content producers from around the world by providing an outlet that allows them to showcase, market and promote their content to a larger audience. For more information on submission guidelines, click the link on Playmaster.today. We also offer a number of services to help artists, content producers and small businesses increase their digital footprint. We encourage you to explore Discover Music Channel by Playmaster.today and support the artists. Once again, this is a message from the legal department. Thank you for your time.
Bring the drinks away you have in your cola. Crack a bottle and we link up with we crew. Bring the drinks away you have in your cola. Crack a bottle and we link up with we crew. We drink together, jam together. Bring the drinks away you have in your cola. Crack a bottle and we link up with we crew. We drink together, jam together, jump together, fit together. We come a fet to celebrate. Not so bad, my no one. Drink by the case, not so bad, my no one. All in the flip, we don't bad mind no one. Jam down our waist, we don't bad mind no one. All when, all them, people bring talk without indulge. He said, she said, them thing without involve. I been this way since me was an infant. And if they was confront, we don't study they tell me. Taking a drink, jamming a girl, crossing a stage. Taking a drink, jamming a girl, up in a face. Taking a drink, jamming a girl, down in the
This crowd is a vibe. I feel the dive. Fall off the stage and dive. I feel the diving. Make me feel alive. I feel the diving. Energy and a vibe. I feel the diving. Hands up our surf over this. Surf over this. Surf over this. Oh, you take me over this. Surf over this. Surf over this. Hands up if you want to dive up stage. Make a way. Bring them round and fuck you well. Hang them up and drink together. Jump together. Jump together. Fit together.
We come a fet to celebrate. Not so bad, my no one. Drink by the case. Not so bad, my no one. All in the plate. We don't bad, my no one. Jam down our waist. We don't bad, my no one. All when, all them. People bring talk without indulge. He said, she said, them thing without involve. I been this way since me was an infant. And if they was confront, we don't study they tell me. Taking a drink, jamming a girl, crossing a stage. Taking a drink, jamming a girl,
make me feel alive. I feel the vibe. Energy and a vibe. I feel the diving. Hands up our surf over this. Surf over this. Surf over this. Oh, you take me over this. Surf over this. Surf over this. Hands up if you want to dive up stage. Make a way. Spin them round and pick up the well. Hands them up and pick up the well. Flex them up and pick up the well. Start jump up and pick up the well. Trinidad just pick up the well. St. Lucia yeah pick up the well. Grenada yeah pick up the well. Everybody this crowd is a scene. I feel the diving. Angry and it mean. I feel the diving. Who dirty and who clean. I feel the diving. All our we is a team. I feel the diving. Hands up our surf over this. Surf over this.
Don't take me off.
Oh, you take me over this.
Don't Experts, don't take me off. Fighting, tell them if we on the stage, on the stage, on the stage. Tell them if we on the stage, on the stage, on the stage.
My God!
This whole place come a shop. If they come in to take way off, whole place come a shop. If they come in to take way off, whole place come a shop. If they come in to take way off, whole place come a shop. If they come in to take way off, give me 1 minute extra, just a minute extra. Want to show the papers on the colors and the texture. Let me push my hand up like the gases from a Vespa. Everybody let me see you. Tell them leave me on the stage, on the stage, on the stage. Let them leave me on the stage, on the stage, on the stage. Yeah, this whole place come a shop. If they come in to take way off, whole place come a shop. If they come in to take way off, the whole place come a shop. If they come in to take way off, whole place come a shop. If they come in to take way off. Moto,
you see the tree over there? I want you to go break the branch, break the branch, break the branch.
Viking.
Crazy. Motor there, you're crazy.
Hey, Carlin. Whoa.
Do anything that you want. Do anything that you want. Do anything that you want. If the party turn up over there, break a branch, and there's a mouse over there. Break a branch, the party turn up over there. Break a branch. I want you to run, everybody.
Take up a branch and run round the place.
Run to the clouds.
Take up a branch and run round the place.
Run to the clouds.
Take up a branch and run round the place.
Run to the clouds. Break a branch, break a branch, break a branch.
Let me go.
Say boy yo yo, say boy yo yo, say boy yo yo, say boy yo yo. Look the crew they just reach. Watch it when we just reach. Anytime we just reach, we mash up every time. I say every time we touch down, we just mash up the party band. Every time we touch down, we just rip up the party band. Every time we touch down, we just mash up the party band. Every time we touch down, we don't say it's nothing. No, the whole party start boiling up. Everybody want to mash up, mash something up, mash up, mash something up, mash up, mash something up. It's like the feds gone mad. Mash up, mash something up, mash up, mash something up, mash up, mash something up. Look at craziness, look at craziness, craziness. Plenty stupidness, craziness. How to deal with this craziness? The feds gone mad. Craziness, look at craziness, craziness. Plenty stupidness, craziness. How to deal with this craziness? Lord, Zig tell you to wet it up, and he make the fatty rub. It's a bunch and say do something crazy, them can't get enough. But I want to set it up, break a branch and break it up. Every time I shall touch the stage.
If the blessing no amount, block away like a social media account. Watch them, miserable soul. Watch them. All them there. All of them there. All them there. Them there. Always have something to say and something to add. Block the bad energy like a maxi pad. Hey Rasta, block all of them. Bad energy we don't like. Block all of them. Hey, you can see them is low like.
My God!
Them there. Them there. Always have something to say and something to add. Block the bad energy like a maxi pad. Hey Rasta, block all of them. Bad energy we don't like. Block all of them. Hey, you can see them is low like. Block all of them. Since when them is a highlight. Block all of them. Block all of them. Always negative, 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 negative. Kill somebody on them like a deer and put them down with a sedative. You don't like what I say, I don't care. Already said what I said it is. If you want, I can flip it again. Block all of them and their relative. Block all of them. Hard energy we don't like. Block all of them. You can see them is low life. Block all of them. Since when them is a highlight. Block all of them.
Boom shot. Yo yo. Hey. Come on. The world that's burn up. Burn up, burn up, burn up. Burn up, burn up. Burn up, burn up, burn up. The world that's burn up. Burn up, burn up, burn up. Burn up, burn up. Burn up, burn up, burn up. Do what you want. Do what you want. Mash up anything you want. Do what you want. Everybody jump up, jump up, jump up, wave. Jump up, jump up, jump up, wave. I have the right to drink a rum. If I want to drink a rum, I have the right to jump around. If I feel to jump around, if I feel to shake the fence, I could more than shake the fence. If you look at evidence, I will show you evidence. The bar bust, barricade broke
turn up the whole dance burn up. Burn up, burn up, burn up. Burn up, burn up. Burn up, burn up, burn up. Do what you want. Do what you want. Mash up anything you want. Do what you want. Everybody.
And if you dance, mash up, it's me who mash it up. And if you dance, burn up, it's me who burn it up.
Oh gosh!
It's me who take
2020!
burn up, it's me who fuck it up. We mad and crazy. We mad and crazy. Tell them move out the way. Tell them we set them from
Oh gosh!
there.
Only a couple people got a chance to enjoy this one right here. Oh God! It's looking real 2020-ish, 2022.
Let me fix it. Look at the light, look at the eye like blinking. The players can fit, let me put the wrench in. Let me fix it. You know that I like you walk on them big things. Yeah, it's wrench. Screw life, I look the wrench. Screw life, I baby wrench. Screw life, I look the wrench. Screw life, I baby wrench. Screw life, I look the wrench. Screw life, I baby wrench. Screw life, I look it coming. Yeah, look the hammer, 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 hammer.
I can't believe that I drunk again. Getting up and up in the front again. I tell myself that I go change my ways, but then no matter how I try, I just can't deny. When I drink I want to mash up. Nobody can talk to me. When I drink I just want to rip up. Nobody can talk to me. When I drink I just want to get bad. They can't talk to me. No, they can't talk to me. No, they can't talk to me. Hey, I tell myself I want to cheat on my girlfriend. Whoops. I just cheat on my girlfriend. I drink the rum and start to make out with her friend. Now I have no more girlfriend. I can't believe that I drunk again. Getting up and up in the front again. I tell myself that I go change my ways, but then no matter how I try, I just can't deny. When I drink I want to mash up. Nobody can talk to me. When I drink I just want to rip up. Nobody can talk to me. When I drink I just want to get mad. They can't talk to me. No, they can't talk to me. No, they can't talk to me. I tell myself I want to vomit in this party.
Oh shit! Look at this. We come to blow up the place like bomb. They call we the raging storm. And when we reach it, I tell you the rave can't done. Can't bad to the bun, go scaling done. We don't play with much. Show them now have your soul. Tell them how have your soul. All must have your soul. Tell them how have your soul. Woman now have your soul. Tell them how have your soul. Can't have your soul.
Roman mass and so. Static.
Mash up party. 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 We don't care a damn thing. Tell them this is my thing. Monk rum we drinking. Tell them this is my thing. Jump y'all on the fencing. Tell them this is my thing. Mash up every damn thing. Tell them this is my thing. For the fest, for the mass from and the carnival. And I'm in hard with my head, but that is bacchanal. You see me do the same. Don't need to call my name. Cause inside of the party, all of we have the same name. Mash up party. Mash up party. Mash up party. Mash up party. Mash up party.
Everybody ready up for the mass, yeah. Because I all ready to jump, all ready to play, all ready for mass, ready to make grenade, all ready to jump hard and wave hard and jump hard and wave hard. No better because cause now we ready to ride it. This side of fire, this side of energy, a positive energy, and they cannot damage it. My side of fire, my side of energy, a positive energy, and they cannot damage it. Show me now everything, show me now everything, up in the sky there. Tell them the bigger side, oh. Show me now everything, show me now everything, up in the sky there. Tell them the bigger side. All the pain make me stronger, I suffer no longer. The harder the fight, time to celebrate. Whenever you hear the conch shell, conch shell, conch shell, shell. Right now we come to get them, get them, get them. Let we shell, get them, get them. Time to celebrate, get them. Right now we come to get them, get them, get them. Let we shell, get them. Africa, let we celebrate, let we celebrate. Time to celebrate, time to celebrate. Till we celebrate.
It's the big name DJ.
Now we come to give them hell, give them hell. Whenever you hear the conch shell, everybody shell, everybody shell, everybody shell, everybody shell, everybody shell. People only jumping up when conch shell in the place. Get them only winding up if conch shell in their face. Walking up and juking up like conch shell in their waist. We don't want it slow when conch shell go his face. Tell me what you want the party start. You know you love this sucker from the bottom of your heart. Tell me what you want the fed to start. You want to wash up all the stadium and the park. Right now we come to give them hell, give them hell. Whenever you hear the conch shell, everybody shell, everybody shell, everybody shell, everybody shell. When I come here, see the shell, everybody shell, everybody shell, everybody shell, when I come with water, every party flat down. So when I tell you water, everybody splash around. Throw up everything and bring it up and spin it round. We shake up all the ground and shell it down, down, down. So anytime we come around, you know the conch shell is the sound. Anywhere we step, you know we mash up anything. Everybody know when the conch shell start to blow like blow, blow. We come to give them hell, give them hell. So whenever you hear the conch shell, everybody shell.
You're now locked into Discover Music Channel. You're now locked into Discover Music Channel on Playmass.today.
B. And today we're going to have a conversation. I know you've seen the commercial for The Social Dilemma on Netflix, and if you haven't, I guess I'm giving them free publicity, but it is definitely a movie that you want to watch if you are a small business owner, entertainer, entrepreneur, or anybody that's interested or doing work digitally. This is definitely a movie that you want to look at. Now, B, give me your first take on the movie when you saw it.
Yeah, so you had hit me up and said, check this out. And I was like, okay. So I flipped it on and kind of saw the trailer for it, and I was like, okay, this looks interesting. Some topics in here that definitely affect my field, or at least relate a lot to what I do. And it seems like the overall synopsis of it is there's some tech tech pioneers from different social media platforms that are trying to sound the alarm on certain aspects of the issues with social media, how they evolved and were built, and the things that they've turned into, and basically their concern about the effects it has on humanity. And I think they make a lot of very good common sense points regarding just the use, addictions, things like that, effect on children, workplace addiction, like having your email on your phone that's for work, and then you come home from work and then you're still doing email on your phone because it's right there and it's alerting you. So there's certain things that they bring up that I think we would all just nod our head to, because it's pretty common sense. Like, yeah, that's obviously the elephant in the room that no one's really talking about per se, but don't really have a solution to change it. So that was my overall take on the whole thing. How they did certain things they talked about, or some of the information they presented, or in different ways. I thought they didn't go enough or go far enough, because either they didn't know or they're not allowed to talk about certain things. So that's where I kind of had some disagreements with it. But overall, I think it's worth watching to spark that kind of mindset thinking. And then if you want to go further into it, go down that rabbit hole, then that leaves you that option too. But I definitely think there's some things here that don't add up in the film, but definitely open to breaking down those things as well.
Well, one of the things that they said, and I thought about it, and I've been saying this, and this is so ironic because I've been saying this from about 2006, 2007. I was like, yeah. The only other industry that I know that calls their clients users are crack dealers, dope dealers.
Exactly.
And in true dope dealer fashion, the one thing that we know, they always give you a taste for free. And once you get hooked, that's when the fees start coming.
That's so true, yeah.
So I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I had mentioned before that I recently saw, while doing research for COVID, I recently saw a bunch of images on the internet, just random images that had nothing to do with anything. And they were all like businesses that had signs saying follow them on social media, as opposed to saying go to our website for more information. Now, my thing is, if you were getting a sponsor to sponsor your store, your business, your product, whatever it was, or to even use the signage in front of your building, you would charge for that, exactly. Right? You're giving away valuable dollars. You're giving away valuable ad space for free to billionaires. Stop spending money sending people to social media. You have a website, send them there. You don't have a website, B and I told you how you can utilize a URL so that you can still market yourself without having to promote the social platforms. Get people familiar with your name, your brand, and your content. Stop sending people to social media. That's my biggest thing. And after having watched the movie and looking at the trends and the things that we're doing as a result of COVID, everybody is forced to engage and interact, and the usage has gone up. And of course, big data is collecting all of this information, or big business is collecting all of this big data and information, and they're figuring out ways to start to charge the same people that are using these platforms for their business as assets and tools. In a few minutes, I'm telling you it's coming. Don't. I'm telling you it's coming. In a few minutes, you guys are going to be paying for those same set of people that you still can't get access to because the algorithms don't allow everybody to see what you're putting out.
Yep.
So that's my take on it. That was my thing on the movie. Like, they're giving you bits and pieces of information, and they're not telling you, but they're also telling you that they have degrees and PhDs in manipulation and human behavior and society. Like, they have learned how to manipulate you. That is their job, to manipulate you to do things and act a certain way, to change change
Correct,
behavior.
and that's what we would refer to. Intelligence is called HUMET. So it's basically the human matrix, and how to break down and decipher individual groups, and even run simulations on what would happen if we did this and this and this. And as they talk about in the movie, present certain facts, or certain what would you call it, like streams of information. So if you're more left-leaning liberal, you're going to only see certain articles and certain things. However, if they wanted to create certain not disinformation, but if they wanted to get you angry or riled up, they know exactly what to put out to you to do that, because they know everything about you. And if you're more right-leaning, you're going to see different articles. You're going to see different things, and it's literally they're creating certain realities. And the movie does touch on this quite a bit, and they actually do it quite accurately. They just don't talk about who's really behind that, because I don't think either they know, as in like,
or they're
or they're under NDAs and can't say it, so they just, or it could have evolved in a certain way that they were brought in to do something, because they were never the higher up management. They were never the board of directors.
Of course.
You know, they don't talk about like the DARPA program that shut down in 2004 and called LifeLog, right? And on the same day, Facebook was started. They don't talk about this stuff, and they don't talk about, DARPA executives or, DARPA, members leaving DARPA and becoming Facebook board members and things like that, and moving into key management positions. They don't discuss this stuff, right? So they don't go over that, and that's public information. You can see that. So those are things that can be talked about, but they either don't know, or it's looked at as certain things like just lateral movements, moving industries, or something. Like it can be presented in a lot of different ways to people, and these people are incredibly smart, or else they wouldn't be where they're at. And like the one guy who was in charge of creating Facebook's first revenue generating thing in 2000, and I think it was 2005 or 2006. Yeah. Even if he had no clue what was going on, he did present the advertisement role, which then, pushes a lot more of the pay-per-click type avenue, because they were kind of modeling it after Google, because they were in such awe of Google's setup. And do your homework. Google built a system that was part of a DARPA program where they needed a search engine, and they got a $100,000 grant for it, because they were able to build it and get what DARPA wanted. All right. Not saying that that's why Google was started, but that is definitely where they got a lot of funding in the beginning. So they won a grant from DARPA. That's public record. So these things, go ahead.
And the thing is, and I must insert here that, you know, when we build things for, like, as innocent as it may be, we may build things genuinely or for a certain particular passion, but we never can imagine how people will use those things. And that's the one thing that I've been told throughout my advertising career, throughout my media career, that you have to be careful the way you present things, because once you put an idea out there, you don't know how people will develop that and change that for their benefit. Yeah. So as great as a product might be, and as useful as it might be, it may also be a double-edged sword where, yeah, it can also do this. You know, it sounded great. Like, I remember back in the 90s, I would be on the train and I'd be like, oh my God, all of the things that I see on the train, I wish I had glasses where I could just blink and capture this shit, because nobody would believe the stuff that I see on the train at 4 a.m. in the morning in New York City. Roll out in, I think it was 2009. Google came out with the Google Glass, and I'm like, I swear to God, they've been listening to me. Like every idea that I was saying, but you know, that just goes along with technology. And then, you know, of course, if they can do that, then one of the other things, I was at a tech conference and we were talking about the images, taking a picture, and now you can remove a person. And then that started bringing up legal issues as to, okay, well, how can you now use an image for evidence in a court of law if you have the ability to, in your device, erase certain aspects of that image?
Yeah, that draws a very interesting line in the sand there. But you're right. I mean, look at what happened when the whole advertising pay-per-click transition of media from print to digital happened. I mean, they were forced online. They lost tons of revenue from print. I mean, I had this in journalism school, and they literally had no choice but to start making these audacious headlines that would make you click on it. Then you actually read the article and you like find out it really has nothing to do with the headline in any way, because they get the avenue from the ads they get the revenue from the ads that are on their page, and you have to click to go see that page to go read the article. And this is where I really got kind of fed up with how things were being played out, because people then started not reading the headline. They would read the headlines, never read the article, and they would just start sharing stuff because they believed that whatever the headline said. Now, keep in mind, if you know anything about like the Washington Post, which was bought by Bezos of Amazon, right? They actually make two different newspapers for each day with different headlines, like titled differently, or worded differently. One is for more of a liberal crowd, Democratic crowd, and one is more for a right-leaning or Republican style. And you can Google this and get these images, but yeah, it's like they're tailoring different realities, and they don't even know it, just to get headlines for clicks, right?
And that destroys the fabric of journalism, because the whole premise of journalism is to present content from a non-biased perspective and allow the audience to make their own decision or determination, right? But now that's been the frustrating part about being in media in this era, because now it's like you have to create, it's clickbait. It's like you're full. Why, if the whole premise of journalism is to tell the truth, why are we manipulating people to think as we would want them to think when we're supposed to be presenting both sides of the story? And I don't think any of these newer journalists follow the traditional guise of journalism at all. Because I've read articles and I'm like, this is so one-sided.
And things like investigative journalism have nearly died.
That doesn't exist anymore because there's too many words on too many words on a screen.
A lot of, like I said, certain areas of journalism have died because of the models that have been created by social media and whatnot. But it all plays back to the point of, this is what you're up against if you're trying to advertise as a company online, on social media, on these things. You're up against these tailored reality machines that are created. And, the movie will discuss that quite a bit. It doesn't go far enough. It doesn't talk about certain aspects, like things like that Snowden had revealed, and the upstreams to various, government entities, and what they don't talk about at all, and is plain sight, is that when Snowden revealed a lot of that, the government started to use more of private contractors or private intelligence contracting companies that basically would build these things and create things by fulfilling contracts of the government, and then they would keep them the tools that they were paid to make. And so they have these massively powerful tools that make Facebook's little alternate reality thing look very tiny, because what do you think Facebook was getting these things from? Like, why do you think Facebook got in trouble for? They publicly labeled it as an experiment of. Remember when they were putting out negative feeds, articles, things like that on certain users' pages without their permission to see how it affected them? Yeah, that was like 2014, I think.
Yep.
Somewhere in there. Yeah. That was like testing period of these AI machines that are from these private contracting companies, which they have access to the entire upstream, and it's all stored outside of the U.S. on servers in Germany. That's public record. It's under the spending, congressional spending and contract fulfilling. You can look it up. So you have servers with all your information, everything that you've uploaded, downloaded, texted, searched. I mean, think Facebook plus every other platform, right? It can store all that info.
Yeah. So if you search porn, if you watch porn on your phone, your computer, or whatever it is, I guarantee you're going to be in the middle of some Facebook conversation, and it's just going to pop up on your screen. You're like, oh my God, what is this? Your kid might be in the middle of class.
Anime, whatever you're into there.
And you wonder, you say, oh, well, how do they know exactly when I'm thinking about sneakers, or how do they know when I'm thinking about weight loss? Why do I keep seeing this waist trainer pop up on my screen? It's because of all of the things that you've searched during that time and the communications that you're having. At one point, they were calling it contextual marketing. I think that was like 2008, 2010. They were calling it contextual marketing, where they were using context clues from the things that you talk about in your posts, as well as the things that you search to create advertisements that related to you. Now, it sounded great. It did. And I can tell you, I was a Google girl. I've since just disgusted with the whole Google concept. But, and it was all great until it wasn't, because you start to see that these are tools that are being manipulated, and people get greedy. They get greedy, and exactly. You start to see corporate greed take place. And that has destroyed the playing field for the small business person.
Because they can pick somebody out and go, just like it shows in the film, like they can send whatever they want that way. Like, that is not just from Facebook's perspective, but these, private intelligence contracting companies, they have that power too, to basically make Facebook's tools do certain things. And, I don't know where the relationship is between the two. That's why I said I think they leave out quite a bit. They act like it was created by accident through these different models that were thrown out and evolved. But
yeah, no, I don't think so. If you just told me that you have a degree in psychology and human behavior, then all of a sudden you created this thing by accident. No, it's a social experiment, and we know what you're doing. That's the whole premise of it. Get people to do what you need them to do. That's what media has always been,
and that,
from the golden era to now.
That down in the film, huge. Talks about the cycle between like the dopamine hits that hit you like a drug, and they know with certain, especially since they've been doing it for a decade, right? They know exactly what you will tend to click on or view, or how their goal is to keep you engaged as long as possible. Just that part alone of the film it may not open your eyes, but it will give you an understanding to what the goal of these big tech giants do, right? You are more likely to be more engaged if you're in a heated argument with somebody over something that has been totally spun out of control by different headlines, different facts, creating different facts, right? And they know this, and as long as you keep coming back, they can keep putting ads in front of you, and they're basically, you don't see them because they pretty much run down the side of your screen or right in the middle of it as you're scrolling by. But that's just one side of the coin. That's just the revenue generating side. But they know these things because it's human nature. They know these things because they have a decade of over 1 billion users of case studies. So these people know what they're doing. It's not a trick. It's not like an accident that they involved. And that's where I kind of disagree with the film, because they stop at a certain point and they give some certain examples out there that what was the one that really downplayed pretty good was the whole Pizzagate thing. Like, they kind of spun that one out of all the examples that they could have given, right, in the world. They talk about Pizzagate, which
that was what they gave.
I found to be kind of ironic. One, because most of the world doesn't even know about Pizzagate, and two, they certainly don't know about the whitewashing that the media did with it. And then they always try to use some case where a guy went to a pizza place in Washington, D.C. to make sure there was no kids trapped by pedophiles or something. And that had nothing to do with Pizzagate. It had to do with a language that's used to communicate. And if you wanted a boy or a girl or you would talk about different food items. And one of them was, pizza was one of them. And you could order a pizza like with walnuts, and anything walnut meant person of color, right? So you could order these things like in the communications. It was often like taking an order for like food for the evening, right? But it was never a specific place. And it was just so
it was like sex trafficking, human trafficking,
and basically they would have a get together.
Human sales.
They would have the food order for that, and that food order was actually what they were wanting to have for their pedophilia type activities. And the code and the language, the FBI knows,
right?
You can search it.
I got you. But they didn't even address. They didn't even touch or address that. They insinuated certain parts of it, but they didn't talk about that at all. Because the general population that watched that assumed that they were talking about pizza, and they were like, "Why the hell are you live with pizza?" That went over people's heads, okay.
Half of the film really kind of like made me go, "Oh, that's right. Okay, Susan Rice left the Obama administration and joined Facebook a couple years ago." Forgot about that. You know, now things are starting to make sense. We got QEs. All right. Let's clear up the whole, whatever you want to believe on it. The art that was displayed for it. Then you've got these things where they're trying to singly pick out a topic about pedophilia in this film and try to whitewash it. It's, it's starting to add up. But regardless of little incidents or little, I guess, microscopic things in the film, it still touches on very valid points. And that's why they want you to think all of this, 95% is valid, then the 5% they throw in is meant to give you some idea that it has validity as well. So you gotta watch that.
Now, one of the things that I noticed, and I found this curious, that they waited till the credits, and whomever did the editing did an awesome job. Again, editing is a big part of telling the story, and depending on how you cut and slice piece of image, I can take the same set of film and make three different movies talking about the same thing from different perspectives. So whomever edited that product, they did an awesome job. When you got to the credits, all of a sudden everybody started offering all of these things that you can do. I like the credits are rolling, and it's not really that when the credits are rolling you can't hear the person, but it's like they're turning the volume down, and what is he saying? So the credits are rolling, and they're like, don't ever click the one that YouTube suggests. Oh my God, it was another one that they said, turn off your thing at a certain time, and I'm like, they're like waiting till the credits roll to tell you all of these little things that you can do to fight the big media or social media giants, right? But they're not really telling you. They're just like, let me throw this in here so it seems like we're so
things you wanted to hear. Well, yeah, very. Right. I guess just coming back to it, then the whole points that we try to promote, being entrepreneurs, independence, wherever your thoughts lie across the board on the in-depth part of it. But the aspect is just that, you can drive as much traffic as you want to these places. And the thing is you are then beholden to them. I have countless friends that, they work in various industries that they have Instagram pages where they have followings, but it only takes a couple times of, getting reported or breaking what they call their community standards, and they lose their entire customer base. All right. And I've had friends that have had 75, 100,000 followers, right? And boom, there goes their business. So it's like, okay, you're beholden to these people. And
like Twitter jail. What is it? Twitter jail? I remember it was Twitter jail.
Yep.
And Facebook jail. They used to say, I'm in Twitter jail. And you have all of these people that you cannot connect with once you're off of that platform. So you have to start looking now. And this is, I need everybody to understand that right now we're at a crucial time because we're all online during the pandemic, and a lot of things, it doesn't look like it's going to ease up anytime soon. There are entire communities that their livelihood has been changed as a result of the pandemic. So a lot of these industries are going to be forced to go online. And at that point, I like Swiss Beats and Timberland with the Versus thing, right? They have a website, and not yet once have they embedded their feed on their website and say, go to Versus TV, Versus.tv to watch the Versus show. They want you to watch it on Instagram. They're sending billions and billions of people. I think the Patti LaBelle and Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight did over 2 million. Wow. 2 million. And all of those people were on Instagram. That was only Instagram. That wasn't Facebook and YouTube. But my point is, they have a website. This is Timberland and Swiss Beats. They have money. They have a website, and they're still sending traffic to these third-party billionaires, trillionaires. Think about that. Every person is worth, if every person is worth $1, they just sent $2 billion. They just sent $2 million.
And you gotta ask yourself why.
To Instagram. And we took, and you know, as a business teacher, I also taught that, you know, you want to capture your people where they are. Yes, we want to capture our people where they are, but once we've captured them where they are, we need to transition them so they get familiar with our brand, our products, and our platforms, which was the reason why I was very impressed with the Erykah Badu and Jill Scott verses, because after the Instagram feed, Erykah Badu was able to take 50% of the people that were on that feed and transfer them over to her Badu World website. And those people stayed for almost 75% of her show on that platform. That was an amazing feat. But nobody since then has done that. So we're going to wrap. What's your last words on this, B? I mean, we could talk about this forever because this is like a topic that's very interesting. But your last set of take on this so that we can let people know what they need to
watch the film. It's worth watching. Pay close attention to how they're able to manipulate feeds, how they're able to manipulate the individual that has created an addictive environment, that has created this social media dilemma that they're referring to. Take note for your business, right? If you are going to create a business that is based on your personal account, right? Make sure that you don't get banned or something, because if you are the only person connected to your Facebook business page or Instagram business page as a moderator or owner user, right, that can access it, create a second account. Give that account ownership as well. That way, if you say something Facebook or Twitter or Instagram does not like, because they do have very biased things, and their fact-checking organizations are quite, let's say it's quite interesting how they select those people to be fact checkers. But you could have a totally valid article get fact checked and it doesn't give it actually any evidence to the contrary. All right, so you can get banned very quickly, and I don't want to see anybody's business pages or accounts go offline because of something that happened in their personal life. So make sure to have second account, backup accounts, things like that you can utilize to work through your business stuff. Because you are beholden to the beliefs and the bias of these people. AI, as it says in the film, is not without bias, because the way it's coded, the way that algorithms are coded, it's all done off of basically the presuppositions of the coder. How that person interprets their reality on their basic core beliefs is what a presupposition is. So if they believe one thing that is opposite of you, it's going to be favorable to their worldview. Okay, so just keep in mind these things exist, they're real. There is a much deeper rabbit hole to go down pertaining to the military-industrial complex that is what's behind the scenes of these private organizations that run all of the intelligence for our country. So there is a much bigger thing here, but just keep in mind your business is the thing that you have to protect in this time, and drive all that traffic to your website as much as possible. That's my take.
Exactly. And one of the takeaways from the movie, and this will be my closing argument, if you are using a product for free,
bingo,
then you are the product. All right. This has been Tech Me with B from Techme Pro.
Everyone, techmepro.com. TECHMI pro.com. So
yes,
you can check me out there. It's just sort of a fun landing page, and then if you're looking for any sort of aspects of websites, design, things like that, I do have some really cheap prices on the store there, which will probably be getting a facelift here soon. So
don't forget, you are now tuned into Being Africa Live right here on Discover Music Channel. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you've gotten all of the information that you needed to be successful in your business endeavors.
Yeah, no problem. That was fun.
She licking her lips and moving them hips like come here, baby. I wanna take her down now. She wanna hit the town now. And she all dressed up, drip on blood, bottom of her boots on blood. She the shit, bring them lips and give me kiss. Then we pull up in a whip. Yeah, dip, we dip, she dip. Skirt, skirt, copping feels wet. One hand on the wheel while she twerking and working up on me. Grab a cup, fill it up, drink it down. Grab your bait, wine and waist to the ground. She got that jump, 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 jumping on. She got that jump, 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 jumping on. She got that jump, 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 jumping on. She got that jump, 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 jumping on. Put your back in it, put your back in it, put your back in it. Put your weight in more, put your back in it. Just a little more. Throw your weight in it now. Fill your body up and rock it high and low. My God! You better do it right. Go down, go down, go down, go down. Come on, come on, come on, come on, go down, go down, go down, go down, go down. Come on, come on, come on. You better do it right. Put your back in it, 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 put your back in it.
Good girl thing don't work for me. I just want a body, bad body. A girl who can walk up she body. Kill them on it, hey, roll the bumper, kill them on it, kill them on it, kill them on it, hey, roll the bumper, kill them on it, Africa, kill them on it, hey, roll the bumper, kill them on it, roll, kill them on it, kill them on it, hey, kill them on it, hey.
Hey mama, bad girl good grammar. Oh nana, self-made no doctor. And that's the reason why they hating on you. Just show them your dirty ways. Start winding down the place. No way, no how nobody safe. That is murder, murder. What you bumper? Hit them the bumper, bumper, bumper. Hit them the bumper, bumper, bumper. Girl, show them man.
getting on and they don't want to stop. Nah, hold on, hold on. This party too mad. Hold on, hold on, hold on. This party too bad. Hold on, hold on, hold on.
It's the BT DJs.
This party too mad. Hold on, hold on, hold on. This party too bad. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Just look forward. Hold on, hold on, hold on. A man I said, what? Michael step in the fet. Drinks in the air, now the whole place wet and what? I start wine pon the vet. Run over, gal, make your husband fret and what? Motor jump on the set. Pick up the mic, now the whole stage wreck and what? Gal, a wine pon the neck is wet, wet, wet. I said, nah. Hold on, hold on. This party too mad.
Is this our way?
Hold on, hold on. This party too mad. Hold on, hold on.
Hey, Mr. Promoter, what the people want? What the people want? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Splashy water, make it rain. Drizzle, make it rain. Drizzle, throw bottle in the air like hurricane. Drizzle, splashy water, and make it rain. Drizzle, make it rain. Question, you really want we shall let down? We shall let down. Say you really want we break it down? We break it down. You really want we shall let down? We shall let down. Everybody in the way, faith, wanna shall let down. So make it drizzle, make it rain.
What's the same to yourself? I drink come in the sun. I made to drink and run. Call the party while shell out. I'm here minding my business, smoking and drink rum. And this police officer comes to me. He wants to lock me up. He said don't run. You must be crazy, that will ruin the fun. Cause it's soca time and we have no behavior. Come to match the place up, we have to run. Run up and down, run, 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 run up and down. From a liquor baby, never like to sit down a place. When the music turn on and soca turn on, it's time to mash up the place. Some people just sit and boring, only stand up in front of you. But if you know you don't, it's not close and borrow nobody show I can't let out. Ready for them, 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 ready for them. Tell me where's the plan? Mash up every band, mash up every band, mash up every band. Execute the plan. Mash up every band, mash up every band, mash up every band. Anywhere we go, them this fairway. Coming from the distance, say yeah way. They know that we big and we scary, we scary, we scary. This is our way, 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 this is our way. Hey, yo, whining with no conduct, conduct. Throwing back your waist like it's a dumb truck, dumb truck. All she says she needed some instructions, and she don't care. She will shell long anywhere. Bust it up like a nuclear. Girl, brace for the impact. Body is good and I like that. Girl, brace for the impact. Set up yourself for the contact. Say, just give me that restless wine. Get loose, girl, reckless wine. Criminal girl, deep my mind. Wine until your backbone break. Girl, wine it. Girl, wine until your backbone break. Girl, roll it. Girl, wine until your backbone break. Girl, wine it. Girl, wine until your backbone break. Girl, roll it. Girl, wine until your backbone. Swing the thing now, swing the thing now, swing the thing now, swing the thing, girl. Roll the thing now, roll the thing now, roll the thing now, roll the thing back. Swing the thing now, swing the thing now, swing the thing now, swing the thing back. Wine the thing now.
Want to leave and go? Me woman holding, holding. You need holding me. Without a holding, holding. From friends and me family. Me woman holding, holding. You need holding me. Without a holding, holding. From friends and me family. People say me dotish and me see stupidity. I don't care what people say. I love me baby. Me woman holding, holding. You need holding me. Without a holding, holding. From friends and me family. I make me get big and fat. Love you all get slim. Every night he leaving home and say she going by the gym. I gone by the baba Friday night for a trip. I'm peeping at my feet. I see she and a man kiss
but Belgian on any gal. I see, I see, I see. My neighbor beat any wife. I see, I see, I see. She jamming she best friend man. I see, I see, I see. Them give the people them song. I see, I see, I see. Every day is a different story. I see. The girl not sure who she baby daddy. I see. He horny gal and he tell she sorry. I see. She fraudulent scamming everybody. I see. You leave your man for a policeman. The policeman never was your man. I see. Your sugar daddy salting right now, so you're looking wrong for a fresh new one. I see. No pressure on any gal. I see.
You're now locked into Discover Music Channel on Playmass.today.